The stage lights dim, the cameras flash, and yet behind the cool exterior of Wang Yibo, the actor, dancer, singer, and motorcycle enthusiast, there lies a softer side that rarely makes it into the spotlight. Recently, whispers from behind the scenes have revealed his candid thoughts on a topic that surprises fans and melts hearts instantly: future parenthood. Wang Yibo, known for his enigmatic presence and carefully measured words, stunned audiences when he opened up in a rare and intimate moment about the kind of father he dreams of becoming one day. It wasn't a scripted scene, not a polished PR move. It was raw, unfiltered, and filled with quiet sincerity that left even his interviewer speechless. Imagine this: a cozy backstage room after a grueling shoot. The air is thick with exhaustion, but there's a sense of warmth as Yibo slouches in his chair, sipping from a bottle of water. His hair falls slightly over his forehead, and his usual guarded demeanor softens when the topic of family arises. Instead of brushing it off or deflecting with humor, as many celebrities often do, Yibo leans forward, his eyes glimmering, and lets his words flow. "I've always thought about what kind of parent I'd be," he admits quietly, almost to himself. "I want to give my kids the kind of childhood where they feel free, where they can explore, make mistakes, and still know they are loved." For a man celebrated for his precision, whether it's in dance steps, acting scenes, or racing laps, this candid confession reveals a longing for imperfection, for letting children stumble and discover the world on their own terms. It's this surprising softness that has fans swooning and reimagining Wang Yibo not just as a superstar, but as a future father whose love would shine brighter than the stage lights. One of the most striking things he said in this intimate exchange was about the lessons he wants to pass on. "I don't want my kids to grow up feeling like they have to be perfect. Life isn't about being flawless. It's about learning to fall and then getting back up. I want to teach them resilience, but also kindness." This moment was powerful because it wasn't just words. It was Wang Yibo revealing the very blueprint of his heart. The man who has been defined by discipline, schedules, and excellence wants to raise children who are free, adventurous, and grounded in compassion. Fans couldn't help but imagine him sitting cross-legged on the floor, helping his child build a toy car, or cheering from the sidelines at a school sports day, his smile brighter than ever. But Yibo's thoughts didn't stop there. He delved deeper into how his childhood shaped his dreams of fatherhood. Growing up, he was known for being shy, quiet, and often misunderstood. He confessed that at times, he felt the pressure of expectations weighing heavily on his young shoulders. "If I become a parent, I want to listen more than I talk. I want my kids to feel safe telling me anything, even the mistakes, even the secrets." That single sentence, "listen more than I talk," set social media on fire. Fans reposted it, quoted it, and couldn't stop imagining how revolutionary this would be coming from a man of such stature. In a world where many children grow up yearning for understanding, Wang Yibo's vow to prioritize listening over lecturing became a message of hope, not just for his future children, but for anyone dreaming of a gentler kind of parenting. And then came the most unexpected revelation. Yibo, whose image has often been painted as cool, untouchable, and serious, admitted that he secretly dreams of being a playful dad. He wants to kick a ball around in the park, take his kids on motorcycle rides when they are old enough, and even learn silly TikTok dances just to make them laugh. "I might look serious now," he chuckled, his eyes crinkling in that rare way that makes fans lose their breath. "But I think kids would bring out a different side of me. I'd probably be the one making jokes, trying to make them laugh when they are upset. I'd want to be their safe place." The room reportedly erupted into laughter at the thought of the usually stoic Wang Yibo breaking into goofy dances or pulling funny faces just to chase away his child's tears. Yet, somehow, everyone could see it, the tenderness beneath his coolness, waiting for the right moment to emerge. As his candid thoughts continued, Yibo didn't shy away from acknowledging the challenges of parenthood. "I know it won't be easy," he admitted. "There will be nights with no sleep, moments of worry, and times when I don't have the answers. But I think that's what makes it beautiful. Parenting isn't about having everything figured out. It's about growing together, learning from each other." That level of honesty left even the interviewer stunned. For a man so often perceived as calculated, Wang Yibo revealed a wisdom far beyond his years. He wasn't romanticizing fatherhood. He was embracing its reality, the struggles, the doubts, and the endless love that makes it worthwhile. What makes his vision of future parenthood so captivating is the balance between discipline and freedom. Fans know that Yibo himself is the product of hard work, relentless practice, and self-discipline. Yet, in his dream of raising children, he doesn't want to impose that same rigidity. Instead, he hopes to create an environment where his kids can choose their own passions, where they can dance if they want to dance, race if they want to race, or simply be free to paint, sing, or dream. If they want to do something completely different from me, I'll support them, Yibo said firmly. Because it's not about me, it's about them discovering who they are. That one statement flipped the narrative. In a culture where many parents project their unfulfilled dreams onto their children, Wang Yibo's determination to let his kids walk their own path felt revolutionary. It was a bold declaration of unconditional love and acceptance that resonated deeply with audiences worldwide. And perhaps the most heartwarming part of his candid reflection was when he imagined the simple joys of fatherhood. No concerts, no flashing cameras, no grand gestures, just everyday moments. Maybe it's sitting down for dinner together after a long day. Maybe it's helping them with homework. Maybe it's just hearing them say good night, Dad. I think those small things will be the most special. The silence that followed was heavy, filled with unspoken awe. The superstar, whose life has been defined by fame, revealed that his truest dream isn't another award or another headline. It's the quiet intimacy of family life. As the interview wrapped up, Yibo left one last thought that fans haven't stopped replaying. I don't know when or how it will happen, but when I do become a parent, I just want to be someone my kids are proud of, not because of who I am on stage, but because of who I am at home. Those words hit harder than any performance. They carried the weight of a man who understands the fragility of fame and the enduring strength of family. They painted a picture of Wang Yibo not as the distant star fans adore from afar, but as a future father whose love will echo louder than applause. It's rare for celebrities to open up so vulnerably about something as personal as parenthood, but Wang Yibo's candid thoughts left the world with more than just quotes. They offered a glimpse into his soul, showing that beneath the glamour and the mystery lies a man ready to embrace love, imperfection, and the lifelong adventure of raising a family. And that, perhaps, is the most beautiful performance he's ever given, one that doesn't need cameras, scripts, or lights. Just love. So, what do you think about Wang Yibo's heartfelt dreams of future parenthood? Could you imagine him as the playful, tender, and wise father he describes? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget, like, share, comment, and subscribe for more heartwarming stories and behind-the-scenes insights into the lives of your favorite stars. The first time Wang Yibo spoke about parenthood, it wasn't during a grand press conference or carefully staged interview. It was in a moment of rare vulnerability, a quiet backstage conversation that somehow spilled into the world, capturing the attention of millions. Fans who have always admired his discipline, his hard-edged work ethic, and his untouchable aura were suddenly faced with a different side of him. A man with a dream of building a family, of becoming a father who chooses warmth over perfection. That glimpse alone left people hungry for more. And as Yibo continued reflecting on his vision of fatherhood, the details he shared painted a picture so heartfelt, so intimate, that it felt like watching a movie play out in real time. He once described a scene he had imagined countless times, sitting in the living room, late at night, while his child runs around the couch in oversized pajamas. Yibo, dressed simply in a hoodie, pretends to chase after them with exaggerated steps, letting them win the race every time. In that moment, the superstar doesn't exist. No stage, no fans, no flashing cameras, just a father and a child sharing laughter that echoes through the house like the sweetest music. Children remind you to enjoy the small things, he said with a shy smile. Even something as simple as blowing bubbles in the park or hearing them say their first words. It feels bigger than any stage I've stood on. Fans who read this couldn't help but imagine him at a park on a sunny afternoon, crouched down next to a toddler who is squealing in delight as bubbles float into the sky. His sharp, serious expression replaced with an unguarded smile, his eyes shining brighter than any spotlight. That's the image that continues to play over and over in the minds of those who have followed his journey. But beyond the playful moments, Wang Yibo also opened up about the responsibility he feels toward raising children in a world as complex as ours. His words were not rehearsed, and that's what made them strike even deeper. "I don't think being a parent is about controlling," he confessed. "It's about guiding. I want to show my kids that even when the world feels heavy, there's always a way to find light. I want them to know that mistakes aren't the end. They're the beginning of learning something new." Imagine him saying those words, his voice calm but firm, as though speaking not to an audience, but directly to his future children. It's as if he was carving promises into the air, promises that fans know he would never break. Another moment that captured hearts was when Yibo admitted he would probably be the kind of dad who documents everything. "I think I'd be the one with the camera, taking videos of everything they do, even the silly stuff. I'd probably annoy them with how much I record," he laughed. That scene is easy to picture. Yibo holding a phone in one hand, laughing quietly as his child makes faces at the camera, or perhaps proudly showing off a messy crayon drawing on the wall. It's almost ironic. Yibo, the man who guards his privacy so carefully, would give everything just to immortalize every small memory of his children. Yet, it's not all playful dreaming. He also acknowledged the weight of being a role model, not just to fans, but to his future kids. He wants them to see him not as the flawless star the world admires, but as a human being who works hard, who makes mistakes, and who gets back up again. "I want them to see me as someone real," he said. "Not perfect, not always strong, but someone who tries. Because I think that's what matters most. Not the image, but the effort." It's rare for someone like Wang Yibo, who has built his career on excellence and discipline, to openly talk about embracing imperfection. And that's exactly what makes his vision of parenthood so refreshing. Instead of projecting expectations, he wants to create space for authenticity, for realness, for flaws. One of the most touching visuals he shared was about bedtime. He described tucking his child into bed, turning off the lights, and sitting quietly by their side until they fall asleep. "I think that's when children feel the most safe, knowing you're there, even when they close their eyes," he murmured. It's the kind of scene that stays with you. Wang Yibo, usually fierce and commanding on stage, sitting silently in the glow of a night lamp, watching over his child with the gentleness of a guardian. That image alone tells you more about him than any headline ever could. He also revealed that he wants to raise his kids to appreciate simplicity. While many might expect a star of his status to talk about giving his children a life of luxury, Yibo's perspective was strikingly different. "I don't want them to grow up spoiled," he admitted. "I want them to understand the value of effort, of kindness, of gratitude. I'd rather they feel rich in love than rich in money." Hearing those words, fans could only admire him more. In a world obsessed with wealth and status, Wang Yibo's definition of richness is rooted in love, gratitude, and shared experiences. That philosophy, if passed on to his future children, could shape them into not just successful individuals, but compassionate ones. But perhaps the most unforgettable moment was when Yibo admitted he sometimes wonders if his children will be proud of him. Not because of the stage, the awards, or the fame, he clarified, but because of who I am at home. "I want them to look at me and say, 'That's my dad,' and feel safe, feel proud, feel loved." It's a vulnerable confession, showing that even someone at the top of his career still worries about the most human of things, being good enough for the people who matter most. And maybe that's what makes Wang Yibo's candid thoughts on future parenthood so captivating. They're not about grand plans or perfect ideals. They're about love, honesty, and the quiet courage to be real. As fans, we may never know when or how this chapter of his life will unfold. But one thing is certain: when it does, it will reveal a side of Wang Yibo that even the brightest stage lights could never capture. And that, perhaps, is the most beautiful role he will ever play. Not as an actor, not as a performer, but as a father. So, what do you think of Wang Yibo's heartfelt vision of fatherhood? Could you see him as the gentle, playful, and wise dad he dreams of being? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe for more touching stories and behind-the-scenes revelations about your favorite stars.